Welcome back to Virginia this morning. You know, it is that time of year again, out with the old and in with the new, and that includes replacing some bad financial habits that, strike many of us. So Richmond CPA and good friend of the show, Phil Yamansky, is back to talk about this very topic, and we welcome Phil back to the show. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Great to see you. Phil,
Great to see you.
Always January 1st rolls around. People want to start off with healthy habits, but it really is great to start with some financial habits as well. What are some of the pitfalls of some of these habits that we get into in terms of maybe paying bills not on time?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you think about any habit, you think about why do you have that habit? Typically, we don't do things because we procrastinate, and doing those things will give us a bad feeling. And sometimes we do things to give us a short-term fix. It makes us feel better. But then it wears off and you see the destruction of your habit. I guess probably
once you open that bill.
Yeah, once you open that bill. So the new year is really a perfect time to start anew. There's an old saying that I like is today is the first day of the rest of your life. So if you can forget about all the things that you've done in the past and do away with the guilt on those and try to establish some new habits going forward that become automatic and then become integrated sort of within your lifestyle. And you mentioned one, paying bills on time. Typically, the reason we don't pay bills on time is because we don't think we have the money. So you're sort of procrastinating, really burying your head in the sand. So you need to establish a routine to do that. Now, one example of that is to maybe set one day a month as your bill paying day and take those 2 or 3 hours. It's very easy to do with bill pay, but if you still write the standard checks, set some time aside and do that.
How about paying the minimum on that credit card bill that rolls around? I mean, at least you're paying something, right?
Well, that's better than not paying at all, but obviously if you can pay a little more than the minimum, then that's going to reduce your interest charges. So that's very important. And one of the things that you should really do is, just like, you know, you make New Year's resolutions, why don't you write down all the bad habits you have and see if you can somehow integrate within your month good habits to replace that. The good thing about good habits is they're the same as bad habits. If you continue to do them for a while, they become automatic.
It's like exercising. If you're into an exercise routine, you wake up, you exercise, you'll be fit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
How about ignoring those bills, sticking your head in the sand, as you were saying?
Well, that's always a bad attitude. It's sort of like, you know, I got up New Year's Day and I weighed myself, and that was important because I wanted to see where I was. I was only 3 or 4 pounds. So if I can integrate that within my workspace, then that's great. So the other thing is that one thing I always want to say is impulse shopping. That's one of the worst habits you can have. It gives you a short-term fix because if you buy that nice suit or you buy the nice pair of shoes, you feel good for a couple of days. And then what happens after that? Oh, no, I got to pay for it.
Well, some people feel guilty when you're walking into the parking lot out of the store. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just return it.
Yes.
How about talking about that impulse buying, but how about the ignoring of the savings?
Savings is very important. Now, savings really is sort of a discipline because you don't really see the benefit of it until you retire. So it's sort of like a long-term thing. But again, with savings, if you can do it simply by having the money withheld from your pay before you even get it and put it into a 401k plan, then it becomes so simple that really you're not doing anything. It's just sort of automatic.
And then you look, and there is somewhat of a satisfaction when you get your statement, or you can look online and you see that nest egg grow.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things I like to say about habits is if you can do a habit with somebody, sometimes you will see people on January 1st or 2nd walking together. So if you and your significant other or spouse can sort of coax each other into doing something good financially, then you sort of become a band of brothers. I don't want to use that term, but a band of people doing something together, and you reinforce those habits with each other.
Just under a minute here, Phil. What about incurring debt for something that you might not deem as necessary?
Absolutely. So that gets with impulse shopping. Now, a better thing than dealing with debt is if you have a large purchase that you need to make, let's say 3 or 4 months from now, instead of using debt to finance that, why not save the money up 2 or 3 months in advance? You've got the money, you can buy the item, you don't have any debt.
So you have a lot of nice shiny cars out there, but maybe you can get a couple of months out of that old car.
Absolutely. You know, winter's here, you don't get out much. Now's the time really to focus your mind on developing some good habits so that you can see some progress in the spring and summer when you want to expand your universe by going on some trips and enjoying yourself.
I am feeling more financially fit always when I talk to you. Phil, thank you so much.